Hey everybody, Necroxis here. I wanted to make a quick, I guess you could call it a react video to a bit of news that we got today. Basically, we got two big pieces of information. The first is the one I really am not going to talk about as much, but it's that, well, first of all, the Warlords of Draenor pre-order has begun. So you can pre-order the expansion by going to whatever. I'm sure if you went to any single Blizzard website, including like Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, you'd see that because, you know, they like to cross-promote on all of their product websites. So, the Warlords of Draenor pre-order has begun. One of the features they say on the pre-order is that the expansion will be available on or before December 30th, or December 20th, excuse me, 2014. Another one is that the basic standard edition is going to cost $50. So let's have a little chat, and I'm going to explain why myself and a lot of people are not happy about this. Let's first talk about the date, because that's the one that is less angering. The date, December 20th, is the technical last day of fall in the United States, or in North America. So people are saying, oh my god, the game's not coming out till December 20th. We're going to have like a year and 3 months of Siege of Orgrimmar. You know, basically people are pissed off. And I could see that argument. I could see why they would think that. But quickly, Blizzard, one of their blue posts, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, revised their statement. They said that they expect it to be out in the fall, and December 20th is just the last day in the fall. So this is disappointing, especially when they have publicly said that, you know, at BlizzCon, the version of the game of Warlords of Draenor that they had was more ahead of how they were with Mists of Pandaria at the 2011 BlizzCon. They said that the Warlords of Draenor game that they showed was, you know, it was further along. So there's a problem there. What happened to that? Because, you know, people are kind of pissed off. And then there's the fact that Siege of Orgrimmar, if it doesn't come out till December or even October, will be almost or as long as the wait between Icecrown Citadel and Cataclysm coming out. And that is something they have explicitly said that they don't want to happen again. Lo and behold, it's going to happen again. Even if it comes out on the first day of fall, which is what, September 20th or something like that? 24th, I think, is what it is. It'll still be about that same time length. So, you know, that's disappointing especially because Blizzard, again, keeps repeating this idea that we want expansions to come out faster, we're going to try and make them faster. They've said it for, I think, the past 3 expansions, and they failed every single time. You know, a lot of people, including myself, are like, okay, if the game's so far along at BlizzCon, and, you know, maybe this time we're going to believe Blizzard saying that they want the expansions to be made faster, maybe it'll be like a May or a June or a July release. But it turns out if they said fall, they want it to be in the fall, then it's not going to. It's going to be basically the same thing as, you know, Mists of Pandaria or Cataclysm is going to be in that same time frame. In November or September, it doesn't matter. It's still fall. So, you know, that's just kind of disappointing. There's going to be nothing happening in the game between the Siege of Orgrimmar patch, which has been out since September, and September of this year. So a year. A year of no content. And it's like, what? You guys are kind of sabotaging your own game here. You know, this is my big problem with this event, this announcement, the price point, which I'll get to in a second, as well as the date. I used to be an ardent defender of Blizzard. I still kind of am to this day. But shit like this just makes me begin to believe everything people have been saying about, you know, Blizzard and their practices, and they, you know, they go slow because they know people don't give a shit and they're still going to buy it. And, you know, the supposed Blizzard tax on things, which I'll get to in a second. You know, it's just kind of like, how many times can you tell us that us being pissed on is rain before we're like, oh, you're obviously pissing right in our face? I mean, how... This is the 3rd time, like I said, and I just don't understand. You're sabotaging your own franchise. I mean, maybe if you had, like, Titan on the way, I could kind of understand, like, oh, they're doing it to wind down the game, to get people to go to Titan. But there is no Titan. There's not even... Heroes of the Storm's not even in fucking beta yet. They just announced the technical alpha, and that hasn't even started. So, what are they doing? Do they want people to go from WoW to Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls? Because if you're like me, you're going to play it for like 2 hours and be like, done, I'm finished. Or you're going to play Act 5 and be like, okay, that's all I want to see. That's kind of how I'm in the boat for Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, by the way. I kind of just want to see what happens at the end of Act 5, because I already know everything that happens in Act 5 up to the end, because Howie played it, and he told me like everything that happened. So, anyway, I'm just really disappointed that they're slating it for a fall release like the last fucking 3 expansions. Blizzard, what are you doing? So now let's get on to the price point of $50. I think this is a fucking outrage. Especially for an expansion that I would say has less overall objective new content than Mists of Pandaria, or especially Cataclysm, when they fucking redid the whole 1 through 60, you know, or even Wrath of the Lich King. All of those expansions, in fact, every expansion in the game, Burning Crusade included on that, but so I guess I would have listed all of them, they were all $40. Now, Cataclysm did come out at the beginning saying it was $50, and they dropped it down to $10, and anyone who pre-ordered got $10 back. That might happen here, but it hasn't happened yet, so I'm still going to bitch about it. You're pricing something $10 more for lesser content, a less amount of content. I can't think of any reason other than the character boost that this expansion is $10 more. And remember, they said, you know, if you purchase Warlords of Draenor, you're going to get the boost to 90 for free. It's included in the base price, which means for free. But I guess we now know that the cost of that is not free, it's $10. Otherwise, the expansion would be $40, but it's not, it's $50. And it's just, it's fucking ridiculous. They're not even offering a non-character boosted version for $40. Which, in fact, it should be $30 if they did that, not $40. Because if they're going to fucking come out in BlizzCon and say that it's included in the base price of the expansion, and every fucking other expansion that we've had in this game so far is $40, then why would we not expect the expansion to be $40, not $50? And of course, the collector's edition is $10 more. It's $70 instead of $60. So, it's like, what the fuck? Blizzard's just doing this because they know, one, people are going to pay for it, and two, they don't really have to explain themselves, because that's been the biggest outrage thus far. And even though they jumped on the whole, you know, December 20th release, like fucking almost immediately, it's been total silence about the $50 or $40 price. So, in my opinion, what happened is they were like, well, let's just charge $10 more, because remember, and I already made a video about this exact same thing where I said people are overreacting. Unless they would do something like this, then I would agree with them. I already made a video saying that they were already testing how much people wanted to pay for it, and then of course they made the payment on the store for $60, which, you know, is a lot, but I don't really fucking care about that, really. What I care about is that they're including the boost to 90 in the expansion, and they're making the expansion $10 more than normal. There's nothing new, I guess, mechanically, gameplay-wise, in this expansion that you couldn't say about all the other expansions. So as I said, the only possible option that makes sense in my head is that they're saying, okay, the character boost is bumping up the price $10. And I think that's fucking bullshit. Blizzard, this is obviously a Blizzard tax, which people have been saying, you know, Blizzard prices their stuff a little bit more than it should be, just because it's them, and they've built up all of this goodwill with their fan base over the years from Warcraft 1 till, I would say, even Wrath of the Lich King. They've built up a big chunk of, you know, goodwill with their fan base. And they're just fucking shitting that down the toilet as fast as they can. You know, I would even defend Cataclysm. I defend Cataclysm from people when they bitch about it. Mists of Pandaria, I even do it. Except for the end, where then I start realizing they don't care about the story when they make the Alliance act like complete fucking idiots. But at this point, I have to say, I kind of agree with all the people who were freaking out back when I made that other video. And I said I would do this if, you know, they pulled some bullshit like this. If they didn't include, I'm pretty sure I even exactly said, if they didn't include the boost for $40, I would be fucking jumping on that bandwagon saying this is horse shit. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Blizzard, what the fuck are you doing? It should be $40. It better bump down to $40. I'm going to be extremely pissed. I can't even say I'm not going to play it, because I'm going to play it. Because one, I have a fucking YouTube channel that has to deal with the lore. And two, I just took over Bolt Waither's lore, which also deals about the lore. So I kind of fucking have to buy it. And I'm not happy about it, as you can tell. I'm actually really pissed off. You know, as someone who has defended almost every single fucking thing Blizzard has done, I can't defend this piece of horse shit news. Blizzard, you've burned the shit out of me as a fan with Warlords of with Siege of Orgrimmar, the Alliance's story where they just don't fucking give a shit about. 5.3 can also include there, even though the Alliance didn't even basically get a story in 5.3. The Warlords of Draenor premise, which is just absolutely moronic, verging on mentally retarded. You know, with Metzen basically saying, fuck all the lore, I want to see orcs again. And they were like, sold. So, and then shit like this. I would also include no flying till 6.1, which I think is so stupid and is a false idea in their mind that they're going to bring immersion back into the game. For all the reasons why, you can go look up a million people saying why. Basically, in a nutshell, forcing people to ride on the ground is not going to really do anything because people are still going to ride past a bunch of fucking mobs. And whether they're going to ride on the ground or ride on the air, they're going to pass them all up to get to their quest destination. So it doesn't even matter. So all of these different things, I feel like, from a company that I would have considered, if you asked me a year ago, I would say, what's your favorite company? I would say Blizzard. Now, I can't say Blizzard anymore. I don't know what my favorite company is. I might have to say Telltale or maybe Bethesda, I would say, and it used to be Blizzard. So that's where I'm at now. I still am going to buy the expansion, unfortunately. I actually wish in a perfect world where I wasn't doing this, I actually might have considered this as my final straw and I wouldn't have bought the expansion. I wouldn't have been playing WoW. But I kind of now have to. So, you know, that's where I'm at right now in terms of my thinking. Let me know in the comments below, you guys, what you think about, you know, the release date, you know, the price point of $50 or $70 for the collector's edition, the absolute fucking garbage that's coming in the collector's edition, that I can't. You get like what, a pet for, you get a pet, you get a mount which looks okay, and then you get a bunch of Diablo and StarCraft shit that doesn't matter. I don't consider that really worth an extra $20. I would say $30 because it should be you know, 60, not it should be 60, not 70. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So, you know, let me know what you think about all that in the comments below, especially about, you know, the idea of being a free character boost included in the expansion's base price when they bump it up then to $10 more than what it was. So, thanks for watching, everyone. My name is Necroxis, and Blizzard, you need to fucking stop.